Uh, um, Jastin? Wait, hold on. Heather. A through Z.
Let's go R.
Um, Heather, A through Z.
Let's go S.
I don't know, Heather. I don't know what the fuck you want from me. What do you want from me, Heather?
I thought you would talk about like the stunts at the Oscars.
You should have said O then. How am I supposed to get to stunts at the Oscars from S? That's ridiculous.
I was asking too much. That's my bad.
Yeah. 2026. Stunt category at the Academy Awards. I don't know. About damn time. I mean, I want to give them credit, but at the same time, I don't want to because it's also about damn time. Like, do you really want to give somebody credit for finally doing the right thing? Like, I know it's the right thing, but couldn't they have just done it a while ago too?
Which, and actually, unfortunately, I think it's 2027.
See, fuck right off then. Why couldn't they just do it next year? I mean, why do you gotta get 2 years to get acclimated to putting stunts in? You just fucking do it?
It just makes me feel like they've already like decided what they're doing for all the other stuff already when it's like a year away. But yeah, 2027 apparently.
I mean, okay, 2027. In 2 years, they'll finally do the right thing, guys. I gave them a little too much credit. I thought they were starting next year. Maybe.
Your petition may have influenced this, though.
I really do think it's because of us.
We wanted that justice.
We've been screaming for justice for stunt people for how long now? Every week, just justice for stunt people. And the Academy Awards finally went, you know what? Let's actually, do the right thing. Again, finally. Ooh, must be real tough.
Yeah, I wonder what the process is to like get a category added and like why it needs to be 2027.
Man, it's just so a bunch of old white people can figure out what the fuck they're doing. Old white people aren't known for adapting quickly.
And I also wonder, are you going to be awarding a team, a scene, are you going to have a best sequence? Are you going to have a best team? Are you going to have a best movie? Are you going to honor the movie with the best stunts in it? I still wonder how that's going to play out.
I think it's going to be kind of like costume design or something like that, where your main stunt coordinator is the one that gets the award, but it's like also the team, that type of thing. You know what I mean? That's what I would assume, at least, because that makes sense.
AI says it's best stunt design category.
Yeah, so the stunt coordinator is probably the one getting the award, but it's for the team, kind of like sound design. But it's going to be for the whole movie then.
Okay.
So.
Cool. Well, either way, it's exciting and it kind of makes you go, I wonder if, it kind of opens up the hopefulness that other parts of other people that are instrumental in making movies that don't get recognized, hopefully more will get recognized, more of them will get recognized too. Hopefully this opens the door for other departments and people and creative people that aren't getting recognized. So, I mean, it's a good thing.
I also wonder if starting in 2026, they're going to pay for an in memoriam person. Let's just see if they can get that right. Let's start there. Baby steps. Right. Let's get that right.
It's actually like baffling that's like, how do you mess that up that many years in a row majorly? But I don't know. But I did hear that apparently like Ryan Gosling's like press tour for Fall Guy, that was like a huge factor in like influencing the decision. I don't know if that's true, but I saw a couple of things about that.
I mean, that's fair. That's when we started saying justice for some people also.
Yeah, exactly.
But, at the same time, we're not the ones that give awards out, industry awards for Hollywood. Like, that should have just been something they were doing when it became a thing. I mean, oh, Hollywood. I wonder if they're going to push it back or something, because I really think John Wick 5 should be the one getting that. That just makes sense. A John Wick movie getting the first award of that.
Yeah, that sounds like it has to be that.
Or at the very least, something that's going to involve a lot of stunt coordination and teams. I mean, you would think it would go to something like a John Wick or maybe some comic movie where it's more hand-to-hand combat fighting and stuff like that. You would think it would go to something like that.
Man, if they had actually just done this like a couple of decades ago, the award now would be called the Jackie Chan Stunt Award. Like, they would have just stopped giving it to Jackie Chan at a certain point and just go, look, we're just going to name it after you. After you and your team and all the shit they were doing back in Hong Kong.
That would be tight. And also, like, it kind of sucks that, like, Mission Impossible might miss that.
Oh,
like
it will.
With Tom Cruise and somebody like that who does a lot of their own shit. That's... Well, it might suck that some people who are like unsung heroes of doing stunts may never get to receive that.
I will say this. Tom Cruise's next movie after this last Mission Impossible is one where I think he goes to space. And I think he's literally going to space for part of the movie. Yeah, literally going to space for a little bit of the movie.
See, I'm not surprised, but it's still like shocking to hear. You know what I mean? Like, Tom Cruise would do that.
So maybe he'll win it on that one. Like, he'll win the first one because they're like, man, these motherfuckers really went to space. So that one.
Yeah.
Just like, he really learned that Halo jump or whatever. Like, this man should just get like past awards accumulated when they do this in 2027.
I don't think people really understand how crazy that was. This man jumped from the literal edge of the atmosphere of our planet to the ground. He literally did it. He was like inches from space and to the ground. That's a very long way, guys. That's a very long way. And he did it. It's insane. He also learned how to hold his breath for like 5 minutes to do like the underwater stunts in that one. I mean, he really was on the side of the world's tallest building. The guy's a madman. I am so stoked for this next Mission Impossible. Oh my God, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. He really is like the person that strikes me as like, I'm going to do this movie, but I'm not going to do anything I wouldn't do on my own in a movie. So if he hasn't done it, he'll make a point to say like, I'm going to do this because I'm doing it in the movie.
Also, I wonder if it'll extend to television. I wonder if the Emmys would do something for stunts now. I wonder if the rest of the award-giving platforms will follow suit.
As they should.
I mean, they should.
Nice.
So,
yeah. I mean, because like, was it last year where they added that category for box office, like, whatever the box office thing was that Barbie won?
Yeah, but they did it like a couple of years ago because that's also like the best cinematic moment, and that's when the Flash reversed time in Justice League. And that one best cinematic moment.
Box office achievement. That's what it was. Yeah. That was.
Yeah. So achievement in box office, Barbie won that. And yeah, the Flash won a scene from Justice League with the Flash when he like touches the thing and, and then he starts going back and yeah, that one best cinematic moment of the last like 25 years because, there's no God.
Like there's so many movies that they could have chosen,
but it was voted on by the fans.
I know,
and the fans never get
you give fans a vote.
Fans are stupid.
It's that recency bias,
and I'll say that as a fan of a lot of things, we are stupid people. You don't trust our opinion on shit. You know how I know this for a scientific fact? Like undoubtedly so. Do you know what the fan score is for Minecraft? An 88. That's how you know right there you can't trust a damn thing a fan says. At all.
Didn't it also surpass Barbie in its first weekend?
I don't fucking know.
I was like, that can't be right.
But also it's two different things.
Yeah.
There's no point. I saw a lot of people, were comparing it to Barbie. And I'm like, but why are you choosing Barbie? Why are you choosing Barbie as the litmus test for how well Minecraft is doing? Shouldn't you choose Mario or Sonic or any of these other video game movies? Wouldn't that be a more apt comparison than Barbie?
Did Barbie come out around the same time? I mean, I don't
dude,
understand.
It was in like fucking June because it was Barbenheimer.
I don't
remember?
understand why Barbie then.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
It was June or July. Yeah, it really is two different things in like every way. There's no like correlating. Like, there's also not there wasn't a competitive movie like Barbie had. Barbie had Oppenheimer. I know that there was the big push of Barbenheimer, but also not everybody Barbenheimered. So what was Minecraft going up against?
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, and I wonder
Big
if
Snow
it
White. Big Snow.
That Mine White. Oh, that sounds gross. Snowcraft.
There you go.
It does sound better, yeah.
Yeah, let's go with Snowcraft.
I mean, it's just one of those things too where you feel like we're the people who like were more in charge of Minecraft, like, let's compare it to something that people love that made a lot of money just so that it looks better. Like, I don't know. I have no idea why they would compare it.
Yeah, I don't know. It might just depend to who on the author of the article or the newsreel or video or whatever it was, because the article I read, folk did focus on Mario. And it was like it dethroned Mario for like the highest opening.
That makes more sense.
Some kind of move for, I forget what the exact, because if you don't say the exact phrase, you're wrong about you're instantly wrong about it. But it was something like it dethroned Mario for highest opening for something. There was some way that they phrased it.
But I also hate it when they do that sometimes too, because they're like, man, this is the highest grossing Jack Black live action, partially animated movie with songs.
Yeah,
released in April.
That all the time. And you can't ever remember the entire stat because it's so like specific. Otherwise it's wrong. And you never remember it all because it's just too much shit. It was one of those. But it apparently dethroned Mario. I mean, it made hella money.
It did. But no, I know exactly what you're talking about, Jess, because they get weird with those sometimes too.
Yeah.
They're like, man, this is the highest grossing movie released on March 5th of 2025 ever. And you're like, well, I guess, like, is that an achievement?
Yeah, but I don't too much like that. I don't even really like it in sports. They'll be like, oh, he scored the highest amount on this day, on this Thanksgiving. This is the greatest performance ever on Thanksgiving at this time slot. You know, they do it too.
Like,
people just get geeky about those stats.
Dude, because they'll do that shit of like, man, that is the longest touchdown caught by somebody that's left-handed mother was a hairstylist.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, what the fuck does that have to do with this game?
I also just want to comment that I'm seeing this article from People magazine where somebody said, I thought that I thought Barbie was fun, but a Minecraft movie is actually funny and better. And then like part of the article says, yeah, there were moments in Barbie where I kind of laughed. And I'm like, you're telling me, you're sitting here telling me that you laughed harder at Minecraft than you laughed at Barbie?
Well, Heather, why are you spoiling your review? You pulled a me.
I'm sorry.
I'm the one that does that.
It just caught me off guard because I didn't expect that from like People magazine, you know?
Well, we can just hope it's an op-ed or an email or something.
I mean, Barbie didn't have a chicken jockey. Minecraft did, so I don't know what to tell you, Heather.
Well, there's also a reason why one of those is a good movie.
I don't know what to tell you.
I'm gonna give you guys a weird statistic. Did you guys know that I have liked 0% of movies with chicken jockeys in them?
That's a fun fact.
Yeah,
interesting.
You could do 2 truths and a lie with that and knock it out.
I mean, I'll also say this. What is today? Today's the 11th. What was Monday? What was Monday's date? The 6th?
7th, I believe.
Monday the 7th. I'll say this. I did not like any movies I watched on April 7th of 2025. I've liked 0% of movies I watched on that date. It's crazy. And stay tuned if you want to know what movie that is. Is that a good tease? If this was radio, we'd be doing that right before the commercial break.
Yep.
Stay tuned to find out what movie Sterling could possibly be alluding to. Don't read the title of the episode. Or listen to any of the words he said before that. Or just the in general vibe he gives off. You guys ready to do this?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and craft this review.
Jastin, shut the fuck up.
Somebody will listen to me.
Nobody knows anything but you.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Come on.
Cinema Slayers.
It felt personal.
Hey, Cinefans, you're going to have to hold on for this episode. Jess, what the fuck was that? Why are you saying that shit?
Sterling, we craft reviews all the time. We just craft. We get on here and we craft. Okay?
No.
That's what we do, Sterling. We craft.
No. I don't craft shit.
Come on, Sterling.
No, I'm not going to do anything that's in this movie. Nothing.
Well, we're not Minecrafting, but still, we're crafting. We're making memories, brother.
Jastin, no, don't be bringing up memories either. We ain't doing memories. We ain't crafting. We ain't doing any of that shit.
Damn. It sounds like you didn't have a great time.
No, Jastin, I didn't. Anybody that saw this movie, A, didn't have a good time either. B, they're lying about it and saying they did because you know you did it in your heart of hearts. 3, if you saw this movie and you've ever listened to this podcast, you know damn well there's not a single fucking thing in this movie that I would have liked. So no, we ain't doing any of that shit, Jastin.
There's no nonsense right now.
Cinefans, we're reviewing Minecraft, time codes description, spoiler-free scores, spoilers. Let's go. Fuck this movie. Fuck this movie. Fuck this movie. Heather, what about you?
Well said. Well said. So I don't know anything about Minecraft, the video game. I know nothing about it. So I went in blind here, and I don't know that it's going to make a difference either way with this movie, but I cannot say I liked it. In my heart of hearts, as Sterling said, I cannot say that I enjoyed this movie.
No one can in their heart of hearts. They might be able to with their sinful mouths, with the devil taking their tongue and leading them astray.
But the heart of hearts.
But the heart of hearts, no one liked this movie.
Here's my thing. One of the biggest things for me is Jack Black's energy in this does not at all match the energy of anything in the rest of this movie. Like, he feels like he's at the highest level of intensity and hyper. Like, when the story just in general does not at all require that level of anything. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just that's normal Jack Black energy regardless. And it just feels like more because of everything else about this movie and the backdrop of this movie. But either way, we just did not need him on full blast the way he was. And like, this is coming from somebody who is a Jack Black fan, but it was a lot. It was like every single line of dialogue he had was like, I need to act like this is the last line I'm ever going to say before I die. Like, just a level of intensity with this that I'm sure that it works for younger audiences and maybe people our age too. But, you know, younger kids probably love that. It's like, oh, it's silly Jack Black and he's just being so like over the top and it's funny because he's fun. That could be the case very well. And good on you if that's how you felt about this, but it was an overwhelming amount of energy for this character in this movie, and it just did not gel. I would say the kids in the movie probably had a more matching energy to what this movie was. But like in general, I also think that speaks a lot to this movie because Jack Black on full blast sometimes is great. You look at School of Rock, you know what I mean? Like, he is up to an 11 the entire movie. Like, he really is. But sometimes toned down Jack Black is just as great. Like in the Jumanji movie, like he really has the ability to tone it down if he wants and still be just as funny and sometimes funnier. And it just, this is not what I wanted from him in this movie at all. I don't really know if I wanted anything from this movie, to be fair, because I know nothing about Minecraft, but I just feel like it was a lot. Another thing that really bugs me is they wasted Danielle Brooks. Danielle Brooks is fantastic. She's become a favorite of mine in the past year. She's like an award-nominated, brilliant actress. And I am just really sad for everything that happened with her in this movie. Everything in this movie that she does, I'm like, it's just very similar to that whole Cate Blanchett in Borderlands thing, where you're like, you would not know that this woman has ever acted in a critically acclaimed movie of any sort if this was the only thing you've ever seen her in. And that's not really, I don't know if that's specifically Danielle Brooks' fault because she's not really in it a lot. But when she is, you're just like, did you just Hugh Grant it and show up for the paycheck? Did you just come to get your money and be done with it? Like, I don't know. But it was a sad day to waste Danielle Brooks for the character that she was in this movie. It also just in general to me, kind of what I was alluding to with that article that bothered me. I actually feel like this movie was written by adolescent kids with the type of humor and like the jokes they were doing. And I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe it is just me. None of the jokes landed for me. I actually didn't think that there was a funny line in this movie. And that's sad because I do think Jack Black is hilarious. I think Jason Momoa is funny. I'm sure Danielle Brooks is funny. She's great in Peacemaker. Like, there is the potential for this to be a funny movie, given the people you've put in it. That being said, the script that you gave them for this movie, there was 0 lines of humor, in my opinion, in this movie. They really tried. They tried to be silly. And again, I am sure that there are younger kids who thought it was the greatest, most hilarious movie they've ever seen. That was not me, and it was not my feelings about this movie. And this was a rough watch for me in general. It was a really rough watch and just disappointing for me.
Jastin.
Oh, Minecraft. Well, I too haven't played any of the Minecraft games. But I definitely know what Minecraft is. I mean, as far as video games are concerned, it's a global phenomenon. There are a lot of kids and there are a lot of people that play this game. I know I've got a lot of friends and they have kids and all their kids love Minecraft. And if you go to any kind of video game store or any kind of store where they've got like obscure pop culture type stuff, you're probably going to see a Minecraft sword or a pickaxe or something like that. Minecraft is literally everywhere. So it makes sense that some people in Hollywood would go, oh, we got to make a movie about that. You got Mario out here making $1 billion. You got Sonic out here with 3 movies and each getting progressively better and making more money. So it almost is feeling like, whether we like it or not, Hollywood might be going to the video games. I mean, it seems like it is getting closer and closer to this thing where, Zelda live action movie got announced. So, and with the success of this movie, because it's the most successful box office opening in a while that we've had for a movie. So, man, we might be witnessing, whether we like it or not, a changing of the guard when it comes to what's trending at the movies. Because if the comic book movies were the trend and on top, and for a while nobody could deny that, and it was like, the comic movies were just like these untouchable. The superhero movies were like the it movies. And I'm not saying the video game movies are there just yet, but it feels like they might be emerging. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll hold on to that. So I understand why you want to make a Minecraft, because it's got legions and legions of fans, and there are so many kids that play this game. So it makes sense why you would want to do this. And then you got to ask the question, okay, how do you adapt a video game? It's one thing to adapt a game like Super Mario Brothers, where you have distinct characters with distinct motivations, and they've been set up for so long. They have their own personalities, et cetera, et cetera. Minecart's a little weird because like Steve is just like an avatar. He's just kind of like a thing. He doesn't really have a personality or anything like that. Like if anybody, and it's funny because like if you walked out of this, you'd be like, damn, is Steve like this in the Minecraft games? No, Steve is kind of just like this avatar, and the game is all about creativity. Like you, whatever Steve is kind of what you are, you know, that's kind of what it is, but he's basically a blank slate. So how do you adapt this game where basically you are this avatar and the whole point is to build all of this shit with blocks? And essentially you can make anything with blocks. How do you adapt that to the screen? And maybe there were a million ways they could have done this. And unfortunately, they chose just, I think, the dumbest, most non-serious, most just crazy way that they possibly could have done this. Like, I'm in such a weird place with this movie because, yes, it is stupid, and yes, it is garbage, and yes, it is trash. But the movie knows it is. It never tries to take itself too seriously. It feels like the actors and the actresses understand this too, especially Jack Black and Jason Momoa. I feel like everybody knows that this is dumb. And so the movie kind of plays out that way. They know what this is about. We're going to have a whole bunch of references to the game. The kids are going to come see this. Jack Black was definitely operating at like, if it was on a scale of 10, he was at like a 5,000 in this movie. I mean, it was like he had snorted a line and then just got in front of the camera. I mean, that's what it almost felt like the way that he was acting. I mean, even at the beginning when he was narrating, he was yelling narrating. I'm a minor, you know, like it was just, and I was like, whoa. And the movie, and he kind of never lets up the whole time. And that's the kind of energy that this has. It's dumb. It's stupid. But I know that, but I knew, but even the kids that were in the film that I was watching were having a great time. They were laughing at the slipping and falling around and all the slapstick stuff. And you just, and as an adult, you just know what this is. You know exactly what the idea was and what the point of this was. And I understand that. I understand what you're doing. I understand the formula. But I really wish that this movie would have leaned on the ideas about creativity and the power of creativity and stuff like that, because I do think there's a powerful message there. This just chose to state that, and then we are just going to do a bunch of crazy shit that we think of just to get from point A to point B. And, you know, the funny thing about this movie is that really what it is at its core, it is just a worse done Super Mario Brothers movie. Like, a lot of the characters and their roles and who they are damn near the same. I mean, you could almost go down the line and everybody in this feels like a character from the Mario movie. And even the plot of going to this world where we all accidentally get here and we all have to kind of make it out of here is kind of similar. Like, it's got a lot of the same beats as the Mario movie, but honestly, a movie like this kind of made me appreciate that movie more, because this movie would just introduce ideas and just forget about them. It'll just have these thoughts and things, and it just drops them. It establishes all these things at the beginning, and none of it means anything as the movie goes along. It does things, And it is literally like they just forgot that they did the things a couple of scenes later. And it just continues on. It just continues on with that same energy, and it's just kind of relentless. And then it ends. And wow, man. And I know that growing up, you look back on movies that you liked as a kid, and some of them, you have to admit, were stupid. Some of them, you can look back and you can go, man, these movies that I used to like as a kid, and you hold them and they're near and dear to your heart, but you really know that those movies are dumb. And and you look at them now and you go, man, they're terrible. I think that this is kind of what that is for a lot of the people that are kids today. This will be that one that they loved as a kid. They'll remember it fondly. They'll remember the chicken jockey. They'll remember the memes. They'll remember how crazy Jack Black was acting. But this will be one that they look back on and they'll be sitting here like us going, yeah, it was dumb. It was dumb. But I liked it back then when I was a kid.
I wish I could believe you when you say that. You know how I know that won't happen, Jastin? Think about how many idiots in our generation will still claim Space Jam's a good movie.
That's true. That's true. And it probably will have that nostalgic element to it that people will go, oh man, that was, Minecraft was great. Minecraft was great. But, and yeah, you're going to always have that. But I really think this will be one of those, though, where most people will look back and go, it was, it wasn't shit, but boy, I had a good time watching it as a kid.
Man, you have more,
and it's fine.
You have more faith in humanity.
It's fine either way, I guess.
You have more faith in humanity than I do.
Or maybe they don't. You could be right too, but either way, it's fine, I guess. Not the movie. That idea is fine.
No, I get you. I mean,
the movie is it is what it is.
I mean,
honestly,
to just kind of summarize
my point of view,
to summarize at least from my side of it with it, when I'm saying fuck this movie, is it's garbage, 100%. There's not a single scene in this movie that is good, at all. But the thing is I get what you're saying, Jastin, when you're like, oh, it's made for the kids and all this other stuff. And, that should give it some leeway. But my problem with it is the fact that, so was the Lego movie. So was Lego Batman. So was a lot of movies that are technically made for kids and they're still good. And I'm sick and tired of that being, the excuse or the caveat people give to try to justify a shitty movie. When they're just oh, but it's a kid's movie. You're not supposed to like it. There's a lot of family or kid movies out there that I like because they're just good movies overall. They're actually well written and well crafted and well made movies. That is possible.
Paddington.
Yeah. One we did a few weeks back, Paddington. A few weeks before that, Sonic 3. I mean, it's possible. And, the thing is with it is just, once again, this movie feels to me kind of like the Venom movie. Or was it Five Nights at Freddy's and all these other fucking shitty ass movies that the fans just go, oh my God, it's the best thing I've been waiting my whole life for this. They're confusing getting any attention from Hollywood as good attention. And it's not. I don't care who you are. Your heart of hearts is telling you this movie sucks so bad. I don't care if you're 3. I don't care if you're 33. You know this movie sucks. You know it. But you're just so happy that Hollywood has given you a Minecraft movie. So you feel bad if you don't like it. With all of you. When in all actuality, you don't need to faux love this movie. You should be standing there going, hey, Hollywood, you done fucked up. You made a shit movie. How about let's do it better? Because you know what you're going to get? You know you're going to get, Minecraft fans? You're going to get a Minecraft 2. You're going to get that. And guess what? It's going to be just as shitty. You're not going to get a Minecraft 2 that's better, that's improving, that's learning lessons and growing and being better. You're actually probably going to get a worse movie. I don't know how that's possible, but that's what you're probably going to get. All because you settled for what they were willing to give you.
That's a great point. But I think that it's just kind of one of those things where money kind of is the ultimate ruler of what is the truth with anything. A movie can be bad, but if it makes money, it's a success. A movie can be good. If it doesn't make any money, it's not a success. And sometimes to Hollywood, that is the only truth that ultimately matters.
That is the only truth that matters. No, I agree.
And it's just kind of one of those things where, yes, if you're talking about, and then if you split the demographic of people up who like or play Minecraft, I'm sure your older kids to kind of the adults that play are going to be like, oh, I want a better. Sure, if you talk to somebody who's a fan of this and they've got, a more mature taste in movies and stuff like that, they're probably going to be like, oh, yeah, I would have wanted a better Minecraft movie. But those little kids are just going to be like, yay, shit is happening from the game that I play. Oh, look, he had the diamond sword. Oh, look, the trigger jockey. They're just going to be like, yeah, it's got the stuff in it that I like. Yay, I loved it. Just like we were when we were kids. And Transformers movie and all of that shit like Ninja Turtles, all of it. Look, I'm a fan of all that stuff. Those movies ain't good now. They not. I mean, they not. We got a good Ninja Turtles movie and we were like, damn, dude, we really missed out. Like, we really missed out. It didn't have to be the way that it was regurgitated to us time after time after time, but it made money. This is just what it is, man. Like, you're a kid and they can do the easy shit. And sometimes when you're a kid, they can do the easy shit and win.
Jastin,
but to your point, sometimes we can do a quality film and you can win that way too. Dude, sometimes you can win shitty, dog. And this is just this is just them that they just chose the shitty way.
Jastin,
this one.
The problem is where I disagree with you on all this is the fact that those, late 20s, 30s people that are supposed to have a much more mature outlook and more mature taste and shit, they're loving this garbage too, Jastin. It ain't children that are giving this an 88 audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. That ain't children going and voting after watching this shit. That's adults, Jastin. And also, I saw some of those videos of the chicken jockey and where it's like the chicken jockey and everybody goes bananas and they start trashing the place. First of all, A, you're all a bunch of morons. B, you're also all scumbags. You're sitting there and destroying a movie theater. Why? Because of some shitty fucking CGI in a shitty fucking movie that references some shitty fucking thing in some shitty fucking video game, and you're destroying shit because of it. And see, they're all grown people, Jastin. Those aren't children doing that. That's all grown people being assholes and doing that shit.
That is the power of the internet and meme culture. Tis the world we live in. So I'm not really saying, but all that to say, regardless of which side, I'm less interested in whether or not this gives a movie an excuse, who liked it or didn't like it. I'm just saying it is what it is. This is what is. I just want to put all angles and perspectives out there because that's just the thought that I immediately had when I walked out of this. Wow, this was dumb.
No, yeah. No, I agree.
But
my problem is, and what I'm trying to call out, is the movie-going culture of just accepting and embracing and downright loving below mediocrity. Just because you feel some deep-seated need to like something because you feel like you should. Not because you do, but because you feel like you should. Because these are also the same people that would sit there and flip their shit. Because, Johnny Storm in a Fantastic Four movie's black. You know what I mean? They're going to get all up in arms about the authenticity and this and that and the adherence to accuracy and other things and ruining the properties that they love. When they also get this shit that, by all accounts, should be considered ruining the properties they love. And they're just like, oh, it's amazing. It referenced a bunch of shit and had no substance. It's what I want in my movies.
Yeah, man. I guess that's the beautiful and the ugly thing about being a fan. It's short for fanatic, right? This is what fans do. Sometimes they lose their shit over shit they shouldn't. And sometimes they lose their shit over shit they should. Sometimes but really, is there ever really a point to lose your shit? Like, should you lose your shit that Spider-Man's has organic webbing in this movie and he didn't make it himself? Is it enough? Is it really enough to lose your shit over? But there will be some fans that did it. There's people yelling. The Superman sneak peek came out. There are people mad that Superman was yelling. Like the Superman was yelling and going, and hurting because when he was being healed by the sun.
Jastin.
I mean, there's people saying Superman doesn't whine. Why was he yelling?
Jastin.
I watched a video of somebody losing their shit over these minute details. This is kind of what it is to be a fan, though.
Jastin.
You get emotional about shit that you probably shouldn't.
Jastin, hold on. You reminded me of something I saw about Superman. It's this video, and it goes back to Superman Returns, right? The Brandon Routh's Superman. And it's that scene where he's standing there when they're robbing the bank or whatever, and they shoot the gun, and it hits him in the eyeball, and it just falls. And then right after that, it's all Henry Cavill's Superman. And it's Henry Cavill's Superman standing there in Batman versus Superman. When the Batmobile turns the corner, and he's just standing there in the smoke, and they just start shooting him and like spinning around and, all that bullshit. And Superman just stands there. And then it cuts to a part of the trailer for this newest Superman. And it's that scene where he's walking through the crowd and they're all mad at him. And somebody, I guess, throws a cup and it hits Superman in the back of the head. And this actor had the audacity to blink when he got hit by something. And they're like, what is this bullshit? Superman blinking because he got hit by a cup. Look at me, and all these other Supermans didn't do that. And I'm like, hey, let's not even get into the extra bullshit that all that was. let's just actually take the scenes for what they are. A, Brandon Routh didn't actually get shot in the eyeball. It was CGI. 2, Henry Cavill wasn't actually standing there while a car turned around the corner shooting a machine gun and like doing all this other shit. That was CGI. James Gunn's Superman is an actual person that got hit in the head with, yes, it's probably a proper, but he still got hit in the head. He's just actually a human being reacting to getting hit in the back of the head because he's an actual person. And that is the minute shit people are flipping out about with this new Superman. The actor had the audacity to blink when he literally got hit by something. Well, the CGI Supermans, they didn't blink none, Jastin. Not a single CGI blink.
People need day jobs, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. That's, to me, that speaks to my point. But if you think about it, if you're a fan of anything, you probably do get emotional about some dumb shit. If you're a fan of anything, you do. What about people who like are fans of, and then people like want to be, and that's the thing. I don't want to be too hypocritical about it, because what about people who are just like fanatics of teams and like get all emotional when a team wins something or cries when their team wins the World Series or anything like that? I mean, one time, kind of to the point, and I guess whenever you're on the outside looking in, it always seems dumber to those people. Like, you know, my dad, we love yelling and screaming at the Dallas Cowboy games, and we get all riled up when things don't go our way or when something good happens. We're like, yeah, yeah. And one time she totally was like, you two are not on the team. You didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. You didn't contribute to this team. You're not in the huddle. You don't call the plays. Why are you getting so emotional about it? This is the same shit. She's right. And we're right. But it doesn't matter when you're a fan of some shit. You either way, you just tend to get emotional about some shit that you ought to not to, you know.
This is how you know.
The world would be far less boring if we didn't do that shit.
See, this is how you know that these people haven't really had any hardships when it comes to their fandoms. Do you know why I don't get that animated anymore when it comes to shit that I'm a fan of? Because I've been disappointed more than I've been fulfilled. The Tennessee Titans are the statistical, just mediocre team. We win some games, we lose some games. And that's all we really do. I mean, the Cubs went 100+ years not winning shit. Moon Knight has been a nothing character for as long as I've been a fan of him. And, you know, you get a nothing TV show and a nothing this and it's just a bunch of nothing bullshit. It's impossible to get excited. It's all a bunch of bullshit. So yeah, life has beaten the excitement out of me. I can't be a fan of shit like that no more. I can't get excited like that. I can't go win, like watch my team win and go run up and down a hallway or down the street or some shit. I can't be doing that.
But I feel like also to a little bit to that point, like you've been very clear, especially on the podcast, about like you're not going to be loyal to things that are like not good things. And not even talking about teens. Like I'm talking about like musicians or celebrities that like you may have used to been a fan of that you're not a fan of anymore. Because it's not like you're not above being like, oh, I love their music and it's changed my life. So I'm going to be okay with the fact that they're a terrible human being. Like, you're not okay with that. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be a diehard fan of things just to be a diehard fan. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's more of a healthy take on it than people that are like, I'm going to make excuses for this person because I really like this person, or because I really like this team or this thing or this franchise. I will make all the excuses because it makes me feel better about liking them. And when it's like, you can just say, hey, I like this game, but the movie's terrible. Like, that's fine. Two things can be true at the same time, you know?
I totally agree. All I'm saying is all of that is true. All of that falls under this crazy thing called fandom. But the problem is we all have a view of what that looks like, or what it's supposed to be, or what it's supposed to, you know. And like I said, to someone on the outside looking in, it always looks worse. Somebody could see that Whataburger or Titans tattoo on Sterling and be like, now, why the fuck would you put that on your body? Like, what the hell is, you know, Whataburger is a restaurant that sells, you know, that sells food that's not good for you. It's a corporate, you know, it's just some corporate freaking monstrosity that makes all this money on cheap food and none of it's quality. It's fast food, blah, 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 blah. Why would you put that on your body? People, and could that person be correct in some respect? Maybe. But it always looks worse when you are not a fan of the thing, judging fans of the thing. It always looks worse.
And to that person, I would just say, hey, you've obviously never had a sausage bob at 2 a.m. when you're drunk as fuck. Enough said.
There you go. And that's the thing too, Heather, like, it's also tied to, like, it's not even just like you're saying. I think some of it is so internalized, you know, especially when it's connected with childhood or growing up or memories you had with some friend or something like that. So sometimes it is hard to look at something and separate, because if you say, I don't like that thing, you're also saying on some level, maybe you were wrong about it, or wrong for liking it, or you made a bad choice. That's a part of it too. It's not even just renouncing the thing, but on some level, you're also kind of renouncing yourself, because it's like you made the choice to like that thing or love that thing, and then found out, damn, that was a shitty person. Or damn, this movie's not bad. And for some people, this movie's terrible. And for some people, it's just hard to admit that, because then admitting it is also because they feel like it's also saying something about them, you know, and their fandom and their choices. And fandom is illogical. It's
and also
at times,
just because I feel slightly called out for my choice of tattoos.
it was just an example.
Oh, I know. But I just want to say it's also
I don't feel that way about your tattoos, Sterling. Or anyone.
I'm just saying, from a more personal note, because I don't really hold anything as sacred, I get stupid tattoos, and I'll say that. My Whataburger tattoo is stupid as fuck. I love the shit out of it, but it's stupid. I've got a fucking Whataburger logo on the side of my neck. It's unreasonably big for what it is.
And that's okay.
It is.
Like,
because
that's totally okay.
But that's because, and I feel like it's okay. Why? Because I'll admit, it's a dumb little tattoo. That's part of the reason why I got it. Because I don't give a fuck. I've got a lot of dumb tattoos. Most people that have tattoos have some dumb tattoos. I'll lean into it a little bit. It's a dumb tattoo. And that's part of the reason why I have it. My Tennessee Titans tattoo. It's dumb as fuck. Why would I get anything that permanently recognizes perpetual mediocrity? I've got a walking symbol of a 500 season on my chest. And it's dumb. Go Titans.
I mean, yeah, like even when it comes to like, I mean, I think about myself and I'm like, there are so many TV shows and movies that I love that I know are absolute garbage, but I'm okay with it because I acknowledge that.
Oh, Jastin.
You know?
Jastin. You know what I watched? I watched Island of the Dr. Moreau.
Ooh.
It's just as bad as I remember.
Oh, the aisle.
But guess what? I did love every second of it. Say what you want about how shitty that movie is. Val Kilmer's a gem. He's just a sexual chaos gremlin in that movie, and I'm there for it. But it's bad. We need to move the fuck on, guys.
Yeah, we probably should.
Recommendations and score.
I gave Snow White a 0. And in good conscience, I can't give this anything better than that. It's a 0. It's a 0. Fuck your chicken jockeys out of 100. And no, I don't recommend it.
Damn, not the chicken jockey.
Yeah, I stole it. I'm using the chicken jockey for my score. And I'm saying fuck the chicken jockey. And fuck all the assholes that throw popcorn everywhere. Like you're in Midland, Texas watching Summer Mummers. When that scene happens. That might be a little too niche of a reference on this, but you know what? People in Midland, Texas will know what I'm talking about. And it's socially acceptable there. Why? They encourage it. They sell you popcorn to do it. You know what they don't sell you popcorn for at the movie theater? To throw like a jackass. It's there to eat because it's delicious. Fucking wasteful savage. You're wasting good fucking movie theater fucking popcorn. Just throw it. Man, what the fuck is wrong with this people? Jastin, what about you?
I get it, man. I get what you're saying.
I think
You're
that's what I'm the
absolutely right. I
most
would hate
mad
to-
about.
Man,
They're
I would hate to
wasting
have to clean up
popcorn.
those theaters. That sucks, man. All for the clicks. All for the likes. I mean, can I recommend this? Like, oh yeah, I recommend that it's a good movie. No, it's not good. It's just not. I don't like the story structure. I don't like any of the
Jastin,
themes
no,
that they
don't
failed to develop.
don't pretend like there's story structure. You just didn't like it. That you were just like, oh, you know what? It's not my cup of tea for no. There wasn't a fucking story. There wasn't structure. It didn't exist, Jastin.
Not really. It did. Really, it kind of did though. And it sucks because, like, I mean, every now and then, sometimes movies, people, anything entertaining, sometimes comedy shows, sometimes they steal a laugh from you. They steal laughs. Like, you're not really enjoying it. It's not like, oh, that was clever, or oh, that was, maybe it's just tied to the fact that I like Jason Momoa and Jack Black. I don't know. There might have been a time or two where I laughed just because they are who they are, and they are just funny people. You know, some of these people are just genuinely funny people. They have a comedic time and they understand all of that. And some of those Jason Momoa, Jack Black interactions, I could tell they were having fun. And even though the material is shit, there was just something about them on screen at times. I was not enjoying the movie, but every now and then they stole a laugh from me. So I might give it a few points for that. But other than that, there's just really nothing good in it, man.
Man,
It's
you
just,
need to
it doesn't
them-
even look good.
You need to
Like-
take them to small claims court, Jastin, and get those laughs back.
Let's get those laughs back up. But I mean, it doesn't even look great. And that was like the concern that people had. It looked so bad in the previews. I really thought this was going to bomb because there was kind of some negativity on it because of how it looked. And people were like, man, this looks like shit. Man, it doesn't look anything like the Minecraft. But hella people saw it anyway. I don't know, man. This shit just defies logic in some ways. Because how stupid it was, but it made stupid buttloads of money. And it's just crazy that it all just, the stars just aligned for it. And I don't know why. I like to get on here to at least be able to explain, look, I didn't like the movie, but here's why. But I can understand why it's doing so well. I really don't. I really don't. I watched it. It felt like it was a movie that shouldn't be doing as well as it is, but it just is. But I can't recommend it. I can't. I think you'd have to be one of those delusional diehards that Sterling is talking about, or just a kid who, at this point, a simple movie that has references and shit of the shit that you play, you like it. I feel like that is pretty much it. But parents, I don't think there's anything in here for parents to enjoy. You're being dragged to the theater with your kids. They're going to have a good time, but I just don't think you will. I think you'll just be sitting there going, God, when does this end? Jeez, when does this end?
It's so long, too. How did they get an hour and 40-something minutes out of this shit? How?
I know, man. Oh, the crap. But anyway, I'll start rambling on about it. It's not a recommend, and the score is going to be... And we'll go 25. 25. Why did Enderman go out like such a bitch out of 100? Because Enderman is kind of tight in the actual games.
Man, that score was so high. Heather, what about you?
I get what you mean, Jastin, about there's just something about Jack Black and Jason Momoa that you're just like, they're still fun regardless of the movie. I can get on board with that. And do I like them or think they're any less entertaining as a whole because of this movie? No. I still think they're fun. I still love Jack Black. I think he's probably one of the funniest actors right now. You know what I mean? For a while. And Jason Momoa, I do think he has a comedic element to him that works sometimes. I don't think that it worked in this movie just because of how the movie's written. But I think if we had better material or a more adult centered comedy from them, I think that could be really good.
I think so too.
That and Danielle Brooks.
I like their chemistry. They have a chemistry together. They do.
Yeah, they do. And and that's actually the most fun part of this whole thing is really just watching their interviews together, because they are just really funny together in interviews. And a lot of people assume that they're probably just high in most of their interviews together. I can't speak to that, but they're just very laid back, very chill, and just having a good time. So yeah, they do have a chemistry and a dynamic that's really fun. And yeah, I think them two and Danielle Brooks, put them in an adult centered comedy with an actual witty script, and that could be really good. That would be a really funny movie to watch. But unfortunately, that's not what we got here. Granted, it's supposed to be geared more towards kids, so I get it. But like Sterling has alluded to, we've talked about before, there are other kid-centered or kid-friendly movies that are actually funny for adults as well and enjoyable for adults as well. This, unfortunately, is just not one of them, because as I mentioned earlier, it just felt like the script was written by 12-year-olds. I don't know what it was, the type of humor they were going for and how long they stayed on certain types of humor. I'm just what are we doing here, guys? And also, I just realized or just found out that this is the same director of Nacho Libre and Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah.
Napoleon.
Yeah. And I'm just oh, and to be fair, I've never been a huge fan of Napoleon Dynamite, but I know that is a peak movie for a lot of people. So, take that as you will.
I liked it back then, but I wonder what I think of it now. I haven't seen it in years.
On like a rewatch.
Yeah. Vote for Pedro.
No.
No.
I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I've liked any of the movies this guy's ever directed. I don't like Nacho Libre either.
And this kind of speaks to something earlier we kind of talked about. Like, I remember when Napoleon Dynamite came out when I was in high school, and like feeling like I needed to like that movie. Like, everybody liked that movie. And I was like, oh, okay. And I gave it a shot. There were like maybe 2 funny moments in it. And then the rest, I was like, I don't, it doesn't gel with me. It's not my cup of tea. If other people like it, great. It just wasn't for me, But yeah, so I guess that's a fair thing to say, Sterling. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of this director, like in general, but I just think it's funny because you can at least say that there were funny moments in both of those other movies. And I'm not seeing that in this like at all. So yeah, it's unfortunate. It's not going to be a recommend for me. I feel like it's a waste of a lot of really good talent, and they just needed it to be a better script. And that's just me, Yeah, I think, what am I going to give this? I think I'm going to give it, I'm going to give it 10. 10, Gargar is the worst nickname for somebody named Garrett ever out of 100. It was driving me crazy every time he said it. I was like, you just go with Gare or Gare even if you have to do that. Like, Gargar is the worst nickname for somebody named Garrett.
Oh, the crap.
This movie was the worst thing to be filmed. And it fits.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
CineScores at 12. Spoilers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Dude, it's hella higher than I thought it was, man. Like, I feel bad. Because as much as I hated Snow White, I at least liked something in that movie. I liked nothing in this movie, and it has double the score of Snow White.
Honestly, the only thing, and I actually forgot to say this earlier, like, I do think it had a good soundtrack. Not even like the Jack Black songs, but like the actual soundtrack with the pop music. I think that was good. I'll give it that.
I don't remember what you're talking about.
That's also fair.
I don't remember a single song you're talking about. Also, those Jack Black songs, they're simply the worst things that have ever been committed to music.
Yeah, what was that, dog?
They were all so shitty. Like, in all seriousness.
They didn't even try, bro. They didn't even try.
Last week, I said that Snow White is a horrible movie with one thing that is slightly redeeming. This movie is a horrible movie that has nothing that's redeeming. I completely disagree with you guys. I don't think that Jack Black and Jason Momoa have chemistry. Because everything they did sucked. The same with the kids. They sucked. Daniel Brooks sucked. Jennifer Coolidge sucked. Everyone in this movie sucked. There was not a good thing in this fucking movie. Nothing. Why would they spend... They spend so much in this movie establishing the backstories of these characters just so that they would matter none throughout the whole movie. Jason Momoa, expert video game player. Know what he doesn't do? Anything video game related in this movie. Daniel Brooks, real estate agent. I guess that makes sense but also, I don't know, real good with animals? Not really a thing in this movie. Kid is a creative genius. can make a real life jetpack out of shit that's in a fucking school. And his claim to fame in the Minecraft universe is a tater tot gun that's there for 30 seconds. Outside of that, he just makes shit that other people have already made in the game. For this being a Minecraft movie, you know, they didn't do much crafting. They didn't do much mining. They didn't do much building. You know, you kind of have that interesting building thing whenever they're kind of like when they're first there and it's nighttime and they have to get away. Well, why wouldn't you have just done that later in the movie? And they just didn't.
Yeah.
They chose not to. And this kid is like, oh yeah, I'm an expert crafter. I know exactly how many iron ingots are needed in this fictional world to make this shit up. No, that's not how to know. How the fuck, just because you know, like, you're a child, you don't know what the fucking iron ingot is. This is stupid. And why did they spend no less than 18 minutes on a chicken shop that cooked chicken with lava? That scene went too long, right? I'm not even counting the horrendous song that was in that scene. I'm just talking about the scene itself. It was way too long. And honestly, I really don't understand when you guys are talking about how, like, oh, Jason Momoa wasn't bad in this movie. What do you mean? All he did was scream. He just screamed constantly. That was it. They were like, hey, what's your defining character trait? And he goes, I scream. And they went, yes, please. And it almost felt like they were like, hey, Jason Momoa, you know how you've been doing a lot of screaming? And he's like, yeah. Want me to tone it back? And they're like, oh no, we need more. Because that's all he fucking did. And, you know, I don't want to do what I'm about to do. But these child actors in this movie, I get it, they're children. But also, quit. This shouldn't be your career. You're young. Pivot into something else. Because I'm sorry, but when your acting quality reminds me of a 1980s kid in a movie, you ain't doing it right. It was bad. Just, I don't know, be an accountant. That's what you feel like you have the personality of, an accountant. And I'm not talking about like a famous accountant for the stars. I'm talking about some motherfucker that works at H&R Block. That, like, you know, that's your speed, bro. Just do that. It's not too late. Give up on your dreams, please. I beg you. And then there's that chicken jockey. They're sitting there and they're surrounded by these axe murderers. And then it cuts to this kid looking through some boxes. And then all of a sudden they're in a ring. Where the fuck did this ring come from? They're just in a ring. And then there's a chicken. And a little zombie's on a chicken. And they're all chicken jockey, and everybody goes ape shit. We've all seen the videos and all this bullshit. Why?
And also, why did they feel the need to tie up Jack Black or Steve, but not tie up what's her face? Like, it just didn't make sense. Jason Momoa's character.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing in this movie makes sense. But there's just a zombie child riding a fucking chicken. And for some reason, people love that. I'm sorry. But we, as a society, as a collective of people, as the entire race of humanity, we all need to take a break and just sit with ourselves for 30 seconds and just universally admit that's fucking stupid. It should have never happened. It did.
It's definitely not worthy of like popcorn assaults on theaters.
I mean, even regardless of that, it just being filmed, it happened. We made a mistake. As the human race, we collectively made a mistake. Let's reflect. Let's get a little introspective. And let's just strive for a better future where this never fucking happens again. I don't feel like I'm asking that much. Let's just not have any more chicken jockeys. Ever. A small request. I just have this feeling that one day it'll be like in Star Trek with Zephyr Cochrane. And he's going to develop the warp drive. And the Vulcans are going to detect the warp signature. And they're going to be like, hey, this race of humanoids that we thought were way too stupid for us to contact, you know what? They developed warp drive. We'll talk to them now. And they're going to come here. We're on the cusp of getting us a Star Trek. And they're going to find out that in 2025, in the Minecraft movie, there was this thing called the chicken jockey, which was a baby zombie on a chicken. And they're going to go, you know what? You're now our enemy. We hate you more than we hate the Romulans. We hate you more than we hate the Klingons. We hate you more than we hate the Cardassians. And the Vulcans just wipe us out. And we never actually get a Star Trek. All because of that scene. We got to think about the future, guys. We got to think about our future. Heather, what about you?
Listen, what I need to know is why was there at all a storyline with Jennifer Coolidge's character in that freaking villager thing? Like she actually could have just not been in this movie and it wouldn't have made a single difference in this movie. It actually just was a little bit more infuriating to have that in there and mean nothing. And it was to be like, oh, Jennifer Coolidge is funny, right? Let's just do like a funny little thing with her. But it wasn't funny. If you had done a funny thing, sure.
I've got a counterpoint to that. You said that has, no reason to be in this movie. I'll counter that's almost perfect for this movie. Because nothing should have been in this movie.
You know what? I take that counterpoint, and you know what? I can't disagree with it. But that whole thing was just weird. Nothing about it was funny. Nothing about it was cute. It was just weird and dumb. To the point
you just
when
weren't feeling it. I weren't feeling the star-crossed lovers.
I
Two
wasn't
people from a different world come together and
Jastin.
they make one world.
Jastin, you're implying
World
that you
love.
you are for it.
Is that what you're telling me? That you're for this? You're for this storyline?
I just try to understand Heather better. That's all.
Sure. Yeah, I know.
I mean, Jastin, you could have said that you were fine with it because you apparently like 25% of this movie. So, I mean, it has as much to do with anything going on in this film as anything else that happened. Is that the 25% of this movie you liked? Was the villager?
Hell no. They just kept cutting to that, and I was like, "Is this going to come into play somehow?"
they're sitting there like chasing. They're being chased through a canyon by like 107 pigs, and it just cuts to them at dinner. Just dinner. just dinner.
For no reason.
Like, is this going to lead to anything?
No.
And it led to nothing.
It's all just to have Matthew Berry do that voice at the end of the movie, and also just to say, in this day that I've known you, I've, now found love. And like, it's just to make a joke that it's been one day and he can now speak and all this other shit. Like, that's the whole point. That whole setup for that whole character is for like an end of the movie joke that doesn't even work.
That doesn't hit.
And it's also a waste of, what's his name? Matthew Berry? Is that his name?
I believe so.
Like,
and he's one of my favorite fucking people out there when it comes to that stuff. I mean, as Laszlo in What We Do in the Shadows, and his character in the British IT Crowd, like that first episode when he comes in and it's like his dad died, and he just runs and he just goes, "Father," and just like starts yelling like that constantly. It's hilarious.
He's very funny. He's a very funny person. And it just, again, that's why it was a waste of him in this movie. Absolute waste.
I mean, I just hope he got a good check.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It was just, that whole thing was just, I know we've talked a lot about pointless storylines in other movies before, but this might just take the cake of the least necessary storyline of all time.
Could you almost make the argument that this movie is like the anti-Black Bag? Where I made the claim during Black Bag that not a single scene on the screen is a wasted scene, that everything is done so intentionally that there's not a single frame out of place. And then you get this as the exact juxtaposition opposite of that, where every scene and every frame of this movie is just a waste of fucking everything.
Yeah, I think it's very accurate, because like we were like, oh, every character in Black Bag was necessary. Every character was really great. And like, that's just the absolute opposite of anything in this movie. So that's a good point. Yeah, it's the anti-Black Bag. Yeah, it's not great. So that whole storyline was really interesting and dumb, if you will. And also like, they made a point in this movie about, oh, it becomes nightfall every like 20 minutes. And like, yes, they had a few nightfall things, but I'm like, if you're going to say the specific line, at least make it like nightfall every 20 minutes. And like, it could be a funny joke that you follow up on or something. Like you're in the middle of something and then, oh, it's nightfall, so I can't really finish anything we were just doing.
I think that's because that is technically, I think, a reference to the game. I think in game, when you're playing, I think it is nightfall every 20 minutes. And I think that's why that line is there. Even though, yes, 100% Heather, you are correct. They deliver that in this and then just say, we'll just make it night whenever the fuck we want.
Mm-hmm. And then just forgot about it.
Yeah. And I'm like, and that's totally fair if that is a reference to the game. But I'm like, if you're using it specifically in the movie, like be accurate to it, follow up on that or something. It was nightfall, like what, twice in this movie? Maybe 3 times. I don't know. But way in between scenes, like not.
Well, legitimately speaking, I think it's 3 or 4 times in this movie, because it's when Steve is first there and he's like cowering in the house. Whenever they get there and it turns night, when the realtor and the sister are just walking casually, beating up things at night, and then technically the end of the movie, but that's just because
True.
the sorceress makes it night.
Right.
But yeah, that's really it, I think.
Yeah. For an hour 40 something minute movie, it's nightfall for 4 scenes, and they're not even very long scenes. Maybe the last battle was, but yeah, it's and that's fine. It was just like they very specifically said it, and I just think it could have been a funny thing they play into where they're like, you know, doing something fun and bonding or whatever during the day, and then it's suddenly nightfall and they're like, oh, pause everything, let's get into night mode. Like they could have done something more with that if they were going to drop that line, but they just really didn't do anything with that. And I also like, I don't know, the whole thing with Dennis the dog, sure, Dennis the dog, cool, everything like that. Like Steve was very much like die hard for this dog. He was like, they made it seem like this man would die for this dog. This is his companion. He just wants to make sure Dennis is okay and just be with Dennis. But he so easily and quickly let realtor lady have him at the end of the movie, where it just felt like the entire quest of what mattered to him in the entire movie, it didn't really matter because he was just like, all right, Dennis, you can go ahead and just go with someone else. I get it. You know, you get along with her too. It was just weird. Like, I'm just like, I feel like you made this a huge point of your character being like, I need to endure because I need Dennis. And then you're just like, all right, bye, Dennis. You know what I mean? It was just, why? Why do that? Like, follow up on it or something, or I don't know. It was just not even, and then he just like sang that random song to him to like send him off or whatever. But then like there was the whole non-conflict thing at the end when they're like going back to the real world. And he's like, no, I'm going to stay here. This is, you know, where I belong or whatever. And then she's like, I don't know, think about using your skills in the real world. 5 seconds later, he's like, all right. He just goes back to the real world, which you knew was going to happen. But it was just like, there was no buildup. There was like, I feel like in a lot of other movies, you would see a, you know, crisis of faith or a wrestling with like, where should I go? Should I go back? And then like, they're all sad in the real world because they're like, oh, I miss Steve. And then he shows up because he did decide to go the next day or something. Like, it was just literally like a, all right, I guess I'll go. Like, literally like 30 seconds after she was like, maybe think about coming. It was just like, I don't know. Nothing meant anything because the turnaround and the change of what they do is so quick here. And I get it. It is a kid's movie. You don't want to like, you want them to be able to follow this and like understand what's happening and whatever. But it just was very jarring in that way or not jarring, but I guess just like a letdown. Because you're like, there's no build up to any tension that you feel is lasting or real. You know what I mean? And also the main villain pig thing, the witch lady or whatever it was, she was not actually very intimidating at all. Like, she was just, and I do think if there was a moment in this movie where I was like, that's kind of amusing, it was when she was like losing her power at the end because of the sun coming back up or whatever. And like, she was like, come here, I have something for you. I want to talk to you. That actually was probably one of the more amusing things. Yeah. She kept trying to stab him and he's like, I know what you're doing. And she's so weak. She can't even do it. Like, that was kind of amusing. But again, it's like like all she was doing was telling everybody else to do stuff. And like, if she's like supposed to be this like terrifying, powerful, like witch thing, I don't know. I just feel like they could have utilized that more as her being a big bad in this movie, you know? So, and they also kind of abandon the entire thing of like the kids' storyline in the real world of they just lost their parents and the girl is working to provide for them and all this stuff. And they're somehow just like besties with the realtor. They know the realtor somehow. I don't know what that relationship exactly was, but it made it seem like she was like cool with them on that level of, I'm sorry about your parents, but I know you well enough to like, you know, like it was just they don't really explain the relationship, but also they just kind of abandon the entire storyline of, you feel like they're supposed to learn something about sticking together, being there for each other, or something like that, because of this whole "we're all we've got" thing that they do at the beginning, and it doesn't actually really matter. it's kind of, they don't really address it again after they get into the Minecraft world, and it's just kind of gone. And also, I think you guys alluded to it earlier with the kid, the boy that was like supposed to be this creative mind and everything like that. And he's like, let me try something. And he just puts random things together and he makes this thing that actually is the best thing that anybody else made in the group. And you're just like, let's get an explanation or something of like how he knows to do this or why this did work the way it did. Does it work good because his mind was so creative that that's why the elements he put in worked? And everybody else was just like, I don't care, whatever. Like, just they don't really explain like how any of these things work in this Minecraft world. And for people who don't play the game or don't know anything about the game, I think it would have been nice to sort of have that explanation of, you know, because if you have this really creative mind, you can make anything you want into anything you want, or anything like that would have been better than nothing, even if it is a terrible explanation. But I just I think that they should have just done more of that with the creative things, which, as you get, like, there's not really a lot of the creative process happening here. There's a nice little line that Jack Black says about, you know, having a creative mind is important. I don't remember exactly what he said. But beyond that, it's just like this fabricated version of creativity that they give him beyond that point. The only scene that I think felt like actually somebody trying to do acting is Jason Momoa's dialogue of like, I'm a loser in the real world. I didn't hate that. I thought that was like it. Of the things in the movie, that definitely was one of the better things. I think it was a nice, sincere moment from that character. But again, like they give you these little bits of moments and nothing to really follow up after it. Like moments of like, okay, this could be a really good learning point or a really good like moment of growth for a character. And then they just abandon it because it's like, it's really just about the Minecraft stuff, you know, fan service, whatever, because we're in the Minecraft world. And it causes you to not really want to invest in the story because you're like, cool, they're not really going to follow up on anything I care about in the story, you know? So it just felt very futile. The things that they wanted you to focus on or latch onto in the movie. And I think that also contributed to why it's not memorable and it's not a well-written movie. Like the jokes are not clever enough, and the how the story plays out in general, it's not actually creative enough for a movie that is supposed to be about like a creative mind. This movie and this story is not creative. It's like the anti-Minecraft of things because it's not a very creative script, as far as I can tell, based on the limited things I knew about Minecraft. So, and even like the part with Jack Black with his like helmet that he had on at the end, he's like, oh, we created these things. And he had the sword and like the armor and the hat. And I'm just like, you still look silly. And it's really hard to take anything happening right now seriously at all. Like it just, you know, it felt like he just might as well put on like aluminum foil armor and hat, and it just would have been the same thing. Yeah, it was a very clunky movie in that way. And again, I'm mostly just infuriated by the very, very unnecessary storyline with Jennifer Coolidge, where she just didn't even need to be in the movie. It was just like, it added, maybe she has what, total of like 6 minutes of screen time. between this like date she's on and the beginning parts where she's at the school. And you're just like, nope. Like, it's just, that's 6 minutes of your life that you could have gotten back. And you know what? But again, Jennifer Coolidge, get that paycheck. Do what you do. But this is just, nothing mattered in the end in this movie. So, yeah.
Jastin, what you got?
Yeah, I get all that. I mean, just really from the outset, when it starts and Jack Black is just so over the top with his narration, and they're not really explaining. He was just like, oh, I always loved the mines, but, you know,
The
everything in
mines.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was different and nobody liked me. But then finally I grew up and then I went to the mines. And then it was just so like over the top and super dumb. So the film kind of sets that tone right away, which is fine. You know, right away, I felt like the film definitely was self-aware. It kind of knew what it was. And it kind of, and it almost felt like this director and this writer was like, okay, this is dumb. So that's the energy and that's what we want it to be the whole time. And I get that kind of you know, and I guess I can understand establishing that and sticking with that. But the problem is that when you go just full into that as an 11, like I can understand maybe having a comedic tone and having like we're in on the joke kind of tone of it. But kind of to your point, Heather, nothing, it just wasn't creative enough. I think the tone is fine. You can be dumb, you can be stupid, but still do it in a way where we could kind of see some creativity with it. You know, still do it in a way to where yes, this may be dumb to you, but play around with these dumb concepts, or at the very least, just have basic writing consistency with some things. And it's just very, very hard to find in this movie. If I had to give, like, I guess an award for the best character, I do think that Jason Momoa was the best character, because the garbage man was the only one that I really felt like had an arc. You know, he was he was this great like video game player in the 80s, and he had achieved some fame and stuff like that. But he was washed up. He had lost that. He had this store and that was going nowhere, and he was losing it. And then he was desperate for money and trying to be like a life coach or something, and he was this guy kind of pretending like he had it all together. And then he kind of but was greedy and selfish and was all about himself. And then he has that moment that you're talking about, Heather, where he sort of admits what he really is. And then he redeems himself at the end of the movie and is not so selfish and actually redeems himself. That's the only character with an arc. Everybody else in this movie. Now, was it a good arc? No. You've seen it a million times. We've seen that redemption arc a million times. I'm not saying anything about that was good. I'm just saying it was the only thing that felt complete. That was it. It was the only thing that felt complete. Every other character just kind of half had something, but it was never completed or finished. You know what I mean?
Well, but with his arc, the thing I think was funny is that it's like doing all that stuff. And I guess he learns a lesson, whatever, when he shows back up at the end of the movie. But also, how did he turn his shop around in the real world? Like, how did he actually just turn it around and make it successful all of a sudden out of nowhere? Because he had no money. They were going to take his shit
That's
away.
a good question. Like they didn't explain that either. And if they had explained, well, he found his confidence, you know, he came back with confidence and found another way to present this retro store or something like that, or he combined heads with the brother and they came up with an idea, whatever. But no, we didn't get that. They just came back and things were better. And again, a better movie would have been able to explain that or put that all together. And this one just chose not to. It just chose to do that.
When you can sit there and narrate the first 37 minutes of the movie, you can't just narrate a little at the end, going to be like, yeah, he brought a diamond sword back and sold it and made a bunch of money. Like what? Because what would have been really wrong with that if you really think about it? Isn't the purpose of mining to find those things and to sell it? So it's like he wouldn't even be morally wrong to necessarily take some diamonds and sell them in the real world. Like if they are real diamonds, if it is a 1-to-1 diamond to diamond ratio, yeah, just let him have some diamonds, man. And take that whole diamond armor. Man, that's a lot of money. You got a whole suit of armor made of diamonds?
Yeah, I get that. Or, you set this movie up that it's supposed to be about creativity. So he could have got back and they said, well, he didn't bring any of that stuff back. He realized that there was no way to get rich quick. And he used his creativity and came up with a better store or created his own arcade. He got with some video game something and created a new version of that game, and now that game is popular. Now his own arcade game is popular or something like that. How about we take the theme of creativity and use it to develop and have themes and have something happen with all of these characters? But, we were just disinterested in doing that. And that's what I thought they were going with it, with the whole thing about especially how they started with this whole thing about it's about creativity. And that's why Steve wanted to stay there, because this is where he thrived and flourished. And out in the real world, they didn't feel like they appreciated him and everything like that. And then you have the brother who you felt like they set up that story at the end because those two characters could kind of relate to each other. So you felt like Steve and him would have sort of a connection, and maybe that would lead to something like that. But like this movie just had some of those things, but it had no idea of how to develop any of those relationships or make any of those connections come into a cohesive way. So now they're just things. There's just all these ideas and things and concepts just almost just kind of floating around, and you can't make sense of any of it. It's all just there. It all exists there, but none of it is flowing. None of it is doing any of the things that you just, in a good movie, it would do. Like a good movie doesn't set up a whole bunch of ideas and then not have any payoffs. And that's kind of and that's why the Momoa character sticks out, because that was the only thing that felt like somebody had a complete idea of something. Everything else it's just a bunch of incomplete ideas. Like even the brother and the sister, like you said, Heather, they set that whole thing up, and at first, it was kind of intriguing, man. Their mom died and they're trying to make it together, and the kid is in school, but he's kind of brilliant. He's smart. He's kind of got some smarts to him, but if he's being bullied, people don't seem to appreciate him. His sister is at this job and trying to show these old people how to be an influencer, and she seems to have found, she's kind of doing her own thing over here. And, maybe if they had some sort of creative disconnect, so then the journey in the Minecraft, they understand each other's creative differences or something. There was a way to put all this shit together and make it mean something. But the movie it was disinterested in trying all of that. Like it just wanted the video game references and stuff like that. But okay, and I get it. This is for fans of the game. Have video game references and stuff, great. Have Easter eggs, great. But at least have characters and concepts and things where I can at least draw a line from the beginning and the end and something about it makes sense. You know, for all the video game references in the Mario movie, at least you could draw a line from A to B and go, okay, well, Mario and Luigi were trying to get a job. They were trying to be relevant and they weren't. And then they found relevancy in the Mushroom Kingdom and shit. Bowser, he was in love with Peach, so he thought I could take over all these lands and show how powerful I am. I can win her hand. And when he didn't, he was like, well, fuck it. I'll make you marry me. There was something he was trying to do. There was something they were trying to do. And you can connect all the lines. It's basic as fuck. But damn, I can connect everything that everyone was trying to do. The pig villain in this shit. At first they were like, oh, they're doing all this because they want gold. But then it suddenly became, well, we need this cube because with the cube, I can make everything dark. I can turn overworld into this dark thing. Well, why the fuck do you want to do that? Oh, well, this flash memory, I was trying to dance in this Dark World's Got Talent thing and everybody laughed at me. So I'm mad and I want to make everything dark. What the fuck? What are we doing?
That was the fucking stupidest thing I've ever seen committed to film ever.
Just pick something. I don't care how stupid it is. Pick something. Are you greedy and do you just want the gold? Are you mad that you got bullied and so you're taking it out on the world? Like, even if you went with that stupid ass shit, I was in a dance contest and everybody laughed at me. So fuck everybody. I want to burn the world. That is dumb as shit. But hey, just pick one idea and stick with it. Pick one idea and stick with it. I almost don't even hate it in this movie because if Steve was a character that wasn't accepted in that world and tried to get away from it, but your villain is somebody who wasn't accepted and is trying to say, fuck it, I'm just going to destroy everything with my creativity. But you got Steve over here going, nah, I just want to create things with mine. I like that clash between a protagonist and an antagonist. Even though the reasons are dumb, at least, like I said, at least I can draw a line and see how you're connecting things. This movie you start off with a line and then I just wind up with a bunch of scribbled piece of paper. I don't know where the fuck anything was going. It's hard to make sense of anything. So ultimately what you have is just a bunch of references and scenes and things, but what did any of it mean?
Well, and that's what this
like
movie...
Danielle Brooks is just such a random character. She's just there.
Well, to me, this movie feels like it's just a bunch of ideas, but there's no care, there's no thought, there's no connectivity to it all. You know, it's just like they're sitting there and they're going, what's a thing from the game? Crafting. Okay. What's a thing from the game? Chicken jockey. Okay. What's the thing from a game? Lava chicken. Okay, cool. And then they're like, oh man, I got to go meet my realtor. And then afterwards they come back and they're like, man, that realtor is pretty cool. Let's put a realtor in the movie.
Yeah,
because I think these people went, oh, it's a video game movie for kids. We don't actually have to try. And this is the outcome you get. Because they set out going, we're making a video game movie for kids. Why the fuck are we actually going to write or try in this movie?
So like we were saying, just nothing connects. And it was just like you said, it's just all these things and concepts and characters and it all just, and none of them feel complete. None of it just feels complete. There's all these things set up and then they don't. Although ironically, the love story with the villager, why did that have why did it seem like more time and was spent with that than other shit that was important? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, oh, that was great, but even that had a story. They met, they went on a date, they kind of liked each other, even though they were different, and they fell for each other. And he found his voice. He didn't have a voice. He found his voice with her. Why could we connect? Why could we at least tell that story? But we couldn't do that for any of these other characters. I just don't understand. And it's funny, Sterling, I do think they were just sitting there going, okay, what is the thing from the game? It's this, write it down. It'll be in there somehow. What is it like? It totally felt like they were like, look, this is dumb, so it doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter what we do or how we get there exactly. Let's just get there and cash the check. So it just feels like this is just the most egregious offender of that. Like, I say it a lot when we do movies like this, you know, I like when I can sense the try in a film. I can look at a film and go, look, even though it's not my cup of tea, even though I don't like it that much, I can tell that this movie tried. I can tell that some time was spent, some thought was put in. I can see the dots connecting from A to B. This movie tried. I don't know what they were doing here. They didn't try with the special effects. It could have looked better than this. There's no excuse for a movie looking like this. When we get movies like Sonic 3 or the Mario Brothers or any Flow or any of those animated movies or any movies with special effects, why did it look like this? Why didn't it look better than this? So you didn't even care about the appearance of this shit. So I know that you didn't care about anything else. And then you kind of said it, Sterling, but the last thing I'll say about it is that the heart of the video game is about the fact that you can create anything. You can make anything that you want in this game. And I can't believe you had a bunch of characters that understood the overworld, they understood Minecraft, and when it came time to craft, we couldn't come up with anything cool or anything interesting other than everything that we saw before, and let's just have an army of iron golem motherfuckers out there fighting. Man, there should have been all kinds of shit that they made out there. Why couldn't there have been this big giant monster thing that Jack Black and the kid brother created together, because now they're like on the same page? Or what if all the characters sort of said, oh, we could create this, we could create that, and each character kind of brings some creativity to this big monster tank thing that comes out there in the midnight hour and beats the enemies or something. You know, why didn't you like have a contest for this movie prior to it, where you have Minecraft people makers and stuff turn in different ideas and shit from the game, and maybe you could have animated where you could have had people who play this game submit different ideas and stuff like that prior to, and maybe you could have used some of those ideas, or you could have had all these different Minecraft creations, or maybe there's some popular ones, some viral, you know, there are a lot of people that play this game that have like viral creations where they've created all of this cool stuff or stuff that looks like actual people and all that kind of stuff. It would have been neat to see some of the game culture that created the game used as part of the creativity storyline of this game, but of this movie. But of course, we weren't interested in doing any of that, because kind of what Heather said, strangely, for a movie that is about a game that is about creativity, it just lacked any. So, yeah. They could have done way better than this.
Well, to speak a little to that, famed video game streamer Valkyrie was and did film scenes in this movie, but at one point she criticized Jason Momoa's behavior on set, just saying he was a big jerk. Not a pest, not a sex pest, but just a big asshole whilst filming this. And after she said that, her scenes magically got cut from this game or movie. So I don't know.
Oh boy.
I'm just going to go out there and say, though, it kind of makes it seem like it's true. I'm not saying it was. I'm just saying when somebody says that and you go, oh, punished, you're not in the movie now because you said he was mean. It kind of makes it feel like he was being mean. Like I said, I'm not going to say that that's valid. I'm just saying, studio, you made it feel like it was.
You got to wonder. I mean, you got to wonder. It
But
does
also,
feel kind of like a who are you? We're the actors and we're the movie people. You are just, a streamer
the
or an
video game
influencer.
people.
So you get punished.
But also, you know what? I'm not going to blame anybody for being an asshole on this set. It must have been hell.
I imagine. You're behind a green screen most of the day, right? Because none of that overworld shit. It just looked like a green screen.
Dude, you're green screened and the script makes no sense. You know what I mean? It's just, you know what I mean? Like, you're there to do your job. And they're just walking up to you and kicking you in the shin constantly with the quality of what they're giving you to do. So, it probably, I might have been a little grumpy too. He could have just been Minecraft Grumps.
He might have questioned, was the chick really worth this? Like, he might have been questioning his decision.
He's just sitting there questioning his whole career. He's like, what the fuck am I doing? I did Conan the Barbarian that no one even remembers, and I regret that less than this. But then maybe they gave him a check with another zero on it, and he's like, hey, buddy, Jack Black, let's go do all this promo shit now. I'm happy. I got another zero.
And a part of me is like, does he kind of like doing stupid shit? Because, like, you know what I mean? Like, some actors, they kind of like doing that dumb shit, though.
I mean, and I'm just going to say, guys, he's only done a couple of actually good things. He's been in a lot of bad things. Now, sometimes he's been the best thing in a bad thing. But then there are other times he matches the quality of the bad thing. I'm looking at you, Aquaman 2.
It feels like at times he is trying to get away from the macho Jason Momoa. Look at me, I'm hot, I have muscles.
He's trying to get away from Khal Drogo.
Yeah. It feels like he is trying to get away with that. Get away from that and be like, look, I can be this crazy, I can do this funny shit, I can do this dumb shit, I can be in this kind of a movie too. And I don't know if this is the sound strategy of him trying to sell his range. Like, look, if you got a dumb movie, I could do that too. Don't forget about me. Kind of selling his range so he could get more work. Or is this the real him? Like, is this what he likes doing?
I mean,
there's not as much pressure with this.
Let's hope it's not the whole range thing, because I'm not going to lie, Jason Momoa, you did not show your range.
But you know what I mean? You don't only have to cast me as this big muscular thing. I can come out here, I can wear a bodysuit, which I'm assuming that was a body, because he had a little bit of a belly. I know that wasn't his actual stomach.
No, it was. He's notorious for that.
Okay, so he'll just like
what more or less what it does is when he's not like,
because he looked, his arms and shoulders.
No. It's not that he stops working out. He'll just start eating whatever the fuck he wants.
Oh, okay.
That's all. He just doesn't necessarily adhere to strict diet.
Okay.
He's like, because he's like a partial owner or like brand ambassador for Guinness beer, you know? And so when he's not needing to be like Aquaman ripped, he, like I said, he'll keep the muscle, but just add some stuff on top. Type of situation.
Okay. See, I thought maybe that was some sort of makeup or bodysuit or something, because the rest of his body, like I could still see his arms and shoulders, like he looks big still.
Oh yeah.
But
He's still got.
What you're saying.
Yeah, he's got that. It's just, you know, if he wants Cheetos, he eats Cheetos.
Yeah, got it,
dude.
But
so you must have missed it a few years back when everybody was like, "Oh, look at Jason Momoa. He's let himself go. Look at this dad bod."
That did happen.
And he looked like, you know, anybody that still looks good.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't even look bad. I remember
he just didn't have abs. That was it. He just went from abs to no abs. You know, but still jacked. Just no abs. And everybody's like, he's letting himself. That's that. That's all it was, is it's just, he's like, oh, donuts. Still works out, but eats donuts. Drinks beer.
Yeah.
You know, does those things.
Yeah. But I'm just starting to wonder because, you know, what was it? Fast 10? He was eccentric and weird and kind of doing this kind of acting. And now here's another movie where we're kind of doing this silly kind of shit. He signed up to play Lobo, which is a more eccentric kind of, not like this though. Lobo is more of a biker badass type, but so maybe that's going back the other way a little bit. That's a little closer to the Aquaman kind of that he was playing. But I don't know. It seems like he seems to take these kind of silly roles. And now I'm starting to kind of wonder, does he like this? Or is it just because it's easy? Like this is kind of one of those, there's not a lot of pressure. You know, he was the garbage man Tom or whatever the fuck his name was in this. He's not Aquaman. There's a lot of pressure on that. Or like, these other, sometimes the stronger the role, the more pressure there is for you to deliver. But something like this, you can just kind of chill and make the money. And some actors are cool with that. They like, nah, I'll stay right here. This is fine.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just makes me wonder about his mindset when he takes something like this.
I bet because he did get more popular when he started doing like silly stuff, like going on Jimmy Fallon and doing axe throwing and doing that, just silly stuff. And, I bet he just wants to lean into that. It is just a lot less pressure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I sent you guys pictures of Jason Momoa dad bod.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. And for some actors too, this is just a job. It's not like, oh, this is all I ever want to do and I want to have a statue of me somewhere or any of that. Some of them don't really feel like that though. It's just like,
yeah, I mean, for every, Denzel, you get 12 of this.
Yeah. They're cool and they're cool with it. They're not trying to win some award or be heralded as one of the pound for pound best. They're like, man, I'm living my life. I'm making money and I'm chilling. This ain't the most important thing I'm worried about.
Yeah, it's a job. Like,
I'll do it as long as I can. And when it's done, it's done.
Yeah, that's fair. If that's how you want to approach it, that's fair.
Yeah.
You can make a good career out of that.
You can.
You can actually have a pretty good filmography with that too. I mean, There are
Yeah.
lots of people that have more or less approached it like that and did pretty good.
They do pretty well and get it consistent work. And that's all it is. Just, hey, I get consistent work. And then they can choose. And also they seem to can control things a little more. You got to think about those big contracts. Like if you're doing Marvel, you're signing up, depending on the role, you're signing up for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 movies. Here it's just like, sometimes maybe I could see it being easier to just not have to worry about shit like that and just be like, you know what? I'm just going to pick and choose, work when I want. You might see me in this movie and then you might not see me for another 4 or 5 months. And I'm not going to be worried about it. Like,
Yeah.
that's how some of them treat it. And maybe that's the better way to treat it sometimes.
Yeah, at least he's not sending like dead pigs to people.
Yes. Yes.
You could always be that. You could always be Jared Leto. No one should be. Not even him. I'm so sad that he's Skeletor in the He-Man movie. Because I'm actually really kind of like, I think that might be really fun. It's all Jared Leto, Skeletor, and I'm all, son of a bitch. Just fuck it all up. And then they're all like, hey, we're making Tron 3. I'm like, all right, let's see that Tron 3. And they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, Jared Leto, main bad guy. And well, I'm like, thanks for fucking that up, too. Nothing sacred.
How is he going to method act being a skeleton?
Hopefully he cuts his eyeballs out. Is it too fucked up if I say hopefully he dies? To play
Too
Skeletor?
soon.
Oh, Jastin, I got a quick question for. No, I'll wait till after.
Okay.
I got a question for the outro for you. All right. Anything else about Minecraft, guys?
I'm good.
On
Nah.
that note, thank you guys for listening to this episode of the CineScores podcast. Check us out on the internet, www.cinescores.com. CineScores podcast on Facebook, cinema_slayers on Letterboxd, Instagram, and Threads. We're at CineSlayers Pod on TikTok and YouTube. Give us 5-star rating and review. We would really appreciate it. Really help us out. Shout out to Plug Migo and Mundo Show for our theme song and logos, respectively. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your family's friends, and tell your friends' families. And most of all, tell those dear sweet mothers, because dear sweet mothers love.
I'm just going to say stump people in the Oscars category.
Fair. We hear the CineSlayers podcast, Pro Slut, Pro Slut, Pro Sydney, Pro Naked, and Pro Steak Fingers. You. Yes, you Cinefans, you are enough. Justice for Chris, justice for Todd. Justice will finally be achieved in 2027 for all those wonderful stunt people out there. But also, we need to get it for those wonderful animators. And you know what? Oscar category for best caterer. They just put pictures of the Instagram spread at the craft service table. That should be what the fans judge. Who puts out the best food spread at the craft services table? We don't need to be doing no best cinematic moments. We don't need to be judging that shit. We don't know damn thing. But you know what we can do? We know how to like food on Instagram. That's something people know how to do. So, that's my next cause. Getting caterers acknowledged at the Academy Awards. I don't know. After all that, as I always end the TikToks, the YouTube videos, and most importantly, this podcast, just remember, according to Jastin, Moon Knight is the best picture winner. So Jastin,
Yes.
how do you feel about the band Pink Floyd? Another brick in the wall, all that stuff.
Cinema Slayers.
Indifferent. I like some of their songs. Not a huge fan or anything. Couldn't call me that, but I've got a couple of songs on my phone.
You want me to ruin them for you, Jastin?
Oh no, what happened?
They have a movie coming out this year, Jastin. Pink Floyd live at Pompeii.
I'm gonna have to write them a stern letter. Why are they doing it there?
Dude, and the poster is them walking in front of like a volcano.
Too soon.
Too soon, man.
Yeah, are you saying
Already
you're not
doing
going to go watch
concerts
no?
at Pompeii?
You're not going to go watch no Pink Floyd live at Pompeii?
That's it's very insensitive. So many people died.
Oh shit, Jastin, I'm wrong. Apparently, they're just kind of re-releasing it because
Oh.
they actually did this in 1974, Jastin, even sooner.
How could they do that?
I don't know, Jastin. Man, Jastin, they did that. They did that 50 years sooner than I thought they did. If it's too soon now, Jastin, think about how sooner it was then.
I know, it was hella soon then. Damn. Why did anybody stop them? How come nobody would know, don't do this?
Jastin, it's that rock and roll music, just showing no respect. Just no respect for the decent people in society. Just having rock concerts at Pompeii.
I do like that one song though. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall.
Man, they sang that at Pompeii, Jastin. They sang that over the corpse of a young Pompeian.
That makes me sad. I guess I just got to listen to the Korn version then. The Korn cover of it, which is also pretty good.
I still feel like you should write them a stern letter now about their thing from the 70s.
To be fair to everybody, I don't fucking listen to Pink Floyd. I know some of their songs. I didn't know. All I know is that my local cinema establishment, I've walked by a Pink Floyd live at Pompeii poster. I thought it was new. I didn't know it was just a 4K re-release. But yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly how to start the letter. When the time you did this, I wasn't born yet. But now that I am, here's the problem I have with you. And just go into all the details about why this is so insensitive.
The funny thing is, I bet of all the criticisms they've got throughout their careers, they probably just appreciate yours being like, you know what, guys, you just should have performed at Pompeii. It's too soon.
I wonder what they would say. You just found out about this in 2025. You're upset.
Probably.
Me doing that would make more sense than the film, than Minecraft.
It would. At least you have a purpose.
Yeah.
You have an end goal in mind.
True.
You would at least have structure, punctuation. I feel like this is a script also with no punctuation. It's just one long run-on sentence. Written from the manic perspective of a 6-year-old that just ate a bunch of cake.
It's accurate,
Sounds
yeah.
about right.
Being babysat by his father that just did a bunch of cocaine. And they're just both sitting there going, a fucking zombie on a fucking chicken. Hell yeah.
Eating one of those oatmeal cream pies, but the cream is just cocaine. It's just a cocaine sandwich.
Just cocaine.
Mr. Cocaine Pie.
You know, I do have a bone to pick with the Little Debbie Corporation. Because they make the oatmeal cream pies, right?
Which are good as fuck, by the way.
They are. No, they're utterly fucking delicious. Have you seen the peanut butter cream pies?
What are you talking about
Jastin,
to me?
Hold on. Let me get into this, though, Jastin. You look on the back, and it's like, for one serving, it's like 400 and something calories. And you go, okay, well, you know, it's a whole thing. And it's peanut butter, of course. And then it's all serving size. Like a quarter of a cookie. They're sitting there going, a serving size is a quarter of a cookie. Dicks.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I'm not even mad about the total amount of calories. It's just the audacity to go. Just part.
Yeah, that's a serving size.
Yeah. That's the dickheaded move.
Yeah. That's very mean-spirited.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude.
Would you get one of those, Jastin?
Yes.
Zero hesitation.
I do want to try it. I mean, that
Right?
sounds good, though.
Oh, I bet it is. I bet it's fantastic. But I was just like, that is stupid, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
A serving size is actually probably 5 of them. We are gluttonous people. Plus, if if it really is essentially an oatmeal cream pie just with peanut butter, yeah, a serving size is going to be a box. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard enough not to eat a box of oatmeal cream pies, and you add peanut butter to the mix. Done.
Bro, those things never used to survive in our house.
Game changer,
I would
yeah.
I would just eat them.
Dude,
And eat them and eat them.
wasn't the greatest thing ever in Honey, I Shrunk the Kid that just gigantic ass oatmeal cream pie?
Oh, yeah.
Did that just not look like utopia? Because, yeah, fuck all these people that are like, oh, cosmic brownies or zebra cakes or any of that other bullshit. Come on. It's an oatmeal cream pie.
Yeah.
Maybe. You know, what is it? A Nutty Buddy? Those are delicious too.
Yeah, those are my favorite.
Yeah. I'll accept either one of those. And it hands down. Oatmeal cream pies are just delicious.
Or what was the it had a chocolate covering. It was kind of a cake. It had a chocolate covering with the white cream.
That's just
the cupcakes?
That's just a cupcake.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That,
Or are you talking about
it was tube shaped. That's still a cupcake.
Oh, you're talking about the Swiss roll.
Yeah.
That's it. The Swiss roll. Those were fucking good.
Oh, they're good. But if you got to choose and it was just a Swiss roll or an oatmeal cream pie, what are you eating?
Oh yeah, oatmeal. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was always a Swiss roll person more than I was a zebra cake person.
Yeah.
I mean, zebra cakes are all right, but
they're boring to me.
yeah, I never loved them.
What about the strawberry shortcake rolls? The Swiss rolls?
Those are good.
Yeah. They always make my tongue tingle, and I liked it. There's something in the strawberry filling that made my tongue tingle, and I liked it. Probably cocaine.
Yeah, probably.
The only ones that were too much were the snowballs.
Yeah,
I get that.
they were a bit much.
Just a little much. If they were smaller, maybe something, but it was just, they were so massive and it was so much.
Snowballs had coconut on them, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. If I'm going to eat something with coconut like that, I'm either going to go a slice of coconut cake or an Almond Joy.
Yep.
Because an Almond Joy brings the coconut into a more reasonable ratio. It has almonds.
Or you get that Fit Crunch that tastes like an Almond Joy.
Oh, that thing's stupid unfair.
That thing is good. But yeah, coconut. Yeah, it just depends on what it is. But Almond Joys, yes. German chocolate cake.
I was about to say a German chocolate cake.
Coconuts, yes. Yes, ma'am and sir. That's it.
I did the history of the German chocolate cake on this, right? I already said that.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think you
yes,
did.
because it's from Dallas.
Mhm.
the German is from a guy named German, not the country or style. Which, if you think about it for 5 seconds, makes so much sense. It's not like coconuts are running around Germany. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not ancient Bavaria where they're making fucking pretzels and then coconuts just there too. Like, of course, like it makes so much sense once you think about it. That just somehow the only time coconut's ever an ingredient is in that country's signature cake. And then outside that, they don't use it at all.
Fair point.
Ugh. All right. Anything else, guys?
Nah.
God, I'm not gonna lie. I really wish I had oatmeal cream pie right now.
Yep.
Oh, it sounds so fucking
I
good.
want one of those cupcakes, honestly.
It does sound good.
Oh, oatmeal cream pie.
Little Debbie.
I might see if I can get a single one at the store or something. Oh, and go to a
Yeah.
gas station. Gas stations have them.
Yeah, gas stations have them.
Yeah, because at Walmart they're just gonna have a box.
Yeah.
And if I eat a box, I'm just gonna sit there and eat the box. I'm not even gonna pretend like I'm gonna ration that out. I'll just eat a box.
Yeah,
So-
you will.
Yeah. So to have some sort of self control, I need to limit myself to just the single serving from a gas station.
Yeah. And it's so funny. When I was a kid, I would be like, why would you buy just one of these? Why wouldn't you want the box? Why wouldn't you just go to the store and get the box? Then as an adult, you understand.
That's
It's
why.
restraint.
Because you're like, I don't want diabetes in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know, when you were a kid, you were like, why would anybody ever just get one of these? Why don't you just buy the king size? Why don't you just get
Yeah.
the box? Why don't you just, that was my thought process as a kid. Now I'm like, fuck, if I get a box, it's not gonna, I'm gonna eat them all.
It's because if I get
I
a
can't do
box,
it.
I'm going to have a meal of oatmeal cream pies.
Yes. Oh,
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm stopping at a gas station tomorrow.
that's
Get
true
no milk and
adulting right
pie.
there.
Ugh.
Getting one and avoiding the box.
You know what I need to do, though? I need to get that oatmeal cream pie after I leave Walmart. Because if I eat it on the way to Walmart, I'm going to buy a
shit.
box.
Yep, you're gonna buy a box.
I got to get it after. So I don't get a box. Oh, man, I hope I dream of oatmeal cream pie. I hope I have a dream where I get shrunk. And I'm just sitting there living in an oatmeal cream pie. Oh, that sounds like a fantastic dream.
I hope that anytime I think about the Minecraft movie, I just think about an oatmeal cream pie. That might.
Helps alleviate what this
Maybe there
was.
was a point to this after all, guys. Thank
Just-
you.
You just, instead of Minecraft, you just start associating Little Debbie cakes.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, guys.